Okay, so today we are subtracting mixed numbers, but this time it's simplified. We're not going to do it the way with drawing out the representation of when we borrow. So I think y'all are going to like this version a little bit more, so let's go ahead and get started. So we have 3 1/4 minus 1 2/4. I'm going to start out by subtracting my fractions, but we know we can't subtract 2/4 from 1/4, so I have to borrow from my 3. So I'm going to take my 3, make it into a 2, and instead of drawing out my fraction bars, I'm just going to add my denominator to my numerator, because that's the same thing as adding 1 whole. We're adding 4/4, right? Because 4/4 is equal to the 1 that we borrowed. So 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. Now I can do 5 minus 2, which is 3. So I have 3/4 over here. 2 minus 1 is equal to 3. My answer is 3 3/4. I have 6 3/10. Take away 3 7/10. I'm again going to start out with my fractions. And I can't take away 7/10 from 3/10. So I'm going to go next door and borrow from my 6. That 6 turns into a 5. And again, I just add my denominator to my numerator. So 10 plus 3 is 13. So I have 13/10 minus 7/10 equals 6/10. Now 5 minus 3 is 2. So my answer is 2 6/10. I have 7 1/3. Take away 2 2/3. I'm going to again start with my fractions. I can't take away 2/3 from 1/3. So I go next door and I borrow from my 7. My 7 becomes 6, and then I add my denominator to my numerator. So that becomes 4/3, right? Because 3 plus 1 is 4. Now I can subtract like normal. 4 minus 2 is 2, so I have 2/3, and then 6 minus 2 is 4. So my answer is 4 2/3. I have 9 1/8, take away 6 7/8. I start with my fractions. I can't take away 7/8 from 1/8, so I go next door, I turn my 9 into an 8, and then I add my denominator to my numerator. So my 1 up here becomes a 9, and now I can subtract. 9 minus 7 is equal to 2, so that's 2/8, and now I can subtract my whole numbers. 8 minus 6 is 2, so my answer is 2 2/8. I have 3 1/12, take away 1 9/12. Okay, this one you would have had to draw a lot of boxes for, but instead with this new trick, we don't have to draw any at all. So I'm going to start with my fractions. 1/12 take away 9/12. I can't do that, so I go next door. My 3 becomes a 2, because I'm borrowing that 1. Then I'm going to add my denominator to my numerator. So this 1 becomes a 13, because 1 plus 12 is 13. So now I can do 13 minus 9, which is 4. So that's 4/12. And then 2 minus 1, which is 2. Sorry, 2 minus 1, which is 1. That's what I wrote, not what I said. And then your answer is 1 4/12. Here we have 5 2/5. Take away 3 4/5. Start with your fractions. I can't take away 4/5 from 2/5, so I have to go next door and borrow from my 5, which becomes a 4. Then I add my 5 to my 2. So 5 plus 2 becomes 7. So now I can do 7 minus 4, which is 3. So that's 3/5 over here. And then I do 4 minus 3, which is 1. So my answer is 1 3/5. Okay, I have 5 2/6. Take away 2 5/6. Start with your fractions. You can't take away 5/6 from 2/6, so you go next door and you borrow from the 5. You borrow 1 whole from the 5, so that 5 becomes a 4. Now you add your denominator to your numerator, so 6 plus 2, and you get 8. So now you can do 8 minus 5, which is 3. So you're left with 3/6, and then you can move on to your whole numbers. 4 minus 2, which is 2. So your answer is 2 3/6.